A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for being part of today's morning conversation. My name is Ram Aguko. This is why in the morning you're just in time for the next conversation of the day. It is all about youth and politics on this particular Monday morning. Now we shall take a look at what has been trending in the past 1 week. What is it that we've, we need to look out for even in the coming few days? Remember, we have a lot in store for you in our conversation, including the plans of the Deputy President. He's planning to go to the ODM stronghold of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. How is it going to be? What are our expectations? What do we should we be looking forward to? He has also made pointed fingers towards Jubilee and the achievements and taking or poking holes in regards to some of the things that have happened within Jubilee Party. We shall take a look at that in a few. Joining me today, next to me, ladies first, I'm joined by Geraldine Muiruri. She is a political analyst, strategist, coming here to give her voice in regards to this. Karibu sana, Geraldine.
Asante sana.
And you're well?
Yes, I'm very well.
Thank you.
It's a good Monday morning.
Thank you so much. And to my extreme far right, I'm joined by Gerald Minishi. He is also a political analyst. Karibu sana, Gerald.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Now, there is a company called GM. I am joined by GM, Geraldine Muiruri and Gerald Minishi.
Oh, wow.
Coincidentally. When I saw their names, I said I must spare these two. So let me start with you, Geraldine. Tell us a bit about what you do.
I'm Geraldine. I'm a political specialist. I do political strategies, grassroots type of strategies, and I work with data a lot. I'm a thought leader. Basically, I think through data, work through data, and come up with strategies that help with the grassroots mobilization and implementation of projects.
All right.
Mostly with the youth and women. I'd like to say I champion for more participation of women and youth in the political space. We want to see more youth and more women in Parliament 2022.
Of course, this time around we're seeing many youth and women coming up. Huh?
Definitely. So we want more. We don't want to fight for the two-third gender role.
You're leaving that aside?
No, like we want to make sure that
it's more than that.
It is more than, yes.
I saw that coming. Gerald, tell us a bit more about yourself.
Oh, I'm Gerald Vinishi. I'm a diplomat. I'm an author of 2 books. Actually, the 2 books are focused on politics. One is titled Evolving and Revolting World, Anatomy of the 21st Century. Another one, New Horizons and Intuitive Venture. Generally, those 2 books, they focus on the challenges of the 21st century, their solutions, and what to foresee in the future. I'm also a poet, and I'm also a chairperson of the Sensation Youth Empowerment Movement, which solely focuses on youth empowerment. Yeah, it's an organization a non-profit organization that we began in when I was in 3rd year at campus.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm happy to join you this morning.
Thank you so
much. And I'm
much.
looking forward for an interesting conversation.
Thank you. I love poetry.
I also love poems.
Yeah?
I also do. I do write poems.
You write?
Yeah.
You write poetry?
Poems, yes.
Poems?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be bad that give them time to aseme kila mnene huwa na heshima kwa mama. That's the poem I remember.
Oh.
Do you know that singing that poem?
I remember.
Sijui ni kila nani?
Kila mwanafunzi awe na heshima.
Kila mwanamema, kila mwanamema, kila mwanamema huwa na heshima. Kwa baba na baba huwa na heshima. Sijui ukiwa njiani, fikiri sijui moyoni. Umjue jirani huwa na heshima. Asanteni. Just like it's in the morning at Rambaguko and at Y254 channel, I'm with fantastic guests. You don't want to miss this particular conversation. Engage with us. Remember, we are coming to you live on our website also at www.kbc.co.ke/Y254. Now, the Deputy President William Ruto is set to pitch camp in ODM strongholds this week toward the region into supporting his 2022 presidential bid. Now, the Deputy President has planned to a series of activities in Kisumu, Migori, and Homa Bay. He is set to pitch camp in in the Nyanza region this week, and he's daring. This is for some, they consider this as a daring move, taking his Asla movement campaigns to these 3 particular regions in Nyanza. Even as he said on Saturday that he's ready to work with the Wiper leader, that is Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. Let me start with you, Geraldine. What are your thoughts in regards to this particular move here? Good move, bad move, and he's considering to bring in allies, more allies from other parts. In fact, he's even saying that if anyone even from Jubilee wants to come, let them join UDA. Your voice in regards to that?
My voice is, what I think is, first of all, well, he's been selling for us the hustler narrative as young people, telling us how we should hustle. And for me, I don't subscribe to it. Let me start there, because I believe the youth can be owners of property. They can be owners. We are not scavengers. And the hustler narrative basically puts us at a position that we are scavengers. Yani our work, we can't be owners of things. It is being given those little things and to keep scavenging and not owning things. And this, I don't think this should be, first of all, a narrative that we should be telling the youth, because we're still young. We should be telling the youth, you can own things, you can grow, you can become. So I think, first of all, this is not a narrative that we should be letting the youth buy into, and the young people. So as much as he's going to Nyanza, I think the youth are starting to see the light. So it may not be such a big move or something. He's been campaigning for the past 4 years, and we've just started seeing the other aspirants coming now. And I think that is why he even sees the need to start calling for allies and all that. We can't dismiss Kalonzo for sure, but we've seen through the years Kalonzo sits on the fence all the time, and most of the time I've seen a meme doing rounds that every presidential election they threaten to vie for presidency, which never happens. So I don't think, it's not something to ignore that Kalonzo might want to
want to vie.
Want to vie
for presidency.
And anyway, they've been saying, Kalonzo has been saying that they don't want to be pulled into something. You see, there's been this vibe going around that they're being requested to support a certain candidate. It would be ironical then if he's not vying and he's going to jump into another.
Is this a bold move for him to make, going to ODM leader Raila Odinga's stronghold, and is it even going to be successful?
Well, in my introspection, I think that the DP Ruto going to Nyanza to sell his agenda there is not bad, because first of all, Kenya is a democratic country, and anyone has a right to go wherever he wants to go, wherever county he wants to go, to sell their agenda. But I'm concerned about the political agenda or the political manifestos of these political leaders. We have to put into consideration that our political leaders, invariably, they have tended to focus so much on next elections as opposed to next generations. And I don't think that they are so much concerned about we, the common wananchi, at the grassroots level. They are just championing for their political interest. And it's a high time that we have to raise our voices high up the political agenda, so that mainstream politicians can buy it and act on it very quickly. Yeah, Ruto, whether it's Oka, whether it's UDA, I have no problem with these different political factions, but I have a problem with the leadership of this country. It's a high time that at least we should change the narratives. The hustler narrative, for example, as my colleague has said, it is cultivating a false illusion of consensus. And as a country, I think we are punching below our weight, and it's repugnant. Yeah.
If you look at the OKA. The deputy president extended an olive branch to all of them. Here we are looking at Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, Honorable Gideon Moi, Honorable Moses Wetangula, and Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. And he said that they should join him on this bandwagon of UDA in his party, and give him strength on this other side. Is that a political move that can change the conversation?
Well, I'm not sure it will change the conversation, but I think it's just a PR stunt from different political spectrums. Why am I saying this? For example, if you look at Oka, in my opinion, I think those leaders, they don't know actually what they want. Somebody like Wetangula, look, somebody like Wetangula, he wants to vie for presidency. Somebody like Kalonzo, there are people who, they just change their decision overnight. So I will not be surprised even if they join, whether they join UDA or whether they choose to join Raila on the other side in ODM. But the key question that we need to focus ourselves, or rather to ask, is that which leader should we Kenyans, elect for that presidential seat? And if we choose that leader, are we choosing him based on the content of his character and leadership performance and maybe development track, or we are just choosing him because of our ethnic affiliations or political affiliations?
Let me get you clearly. Are you saying that the Oka leaders are inconsistent?
Yes, I think they are inconsistent. If you look at history, look at the
all of them individually?
Yeah, I think all of them. Mudavadi, Kalonzo, all of them.
I'm saying you're smiling. Do you agree with what he's saying?
I'm smiling because I think he's right. Not I think, it's true he's right. These people are never consistent. They are always changing, and because of this, they've also lost ground in their various places. For example, if we look at Kalonzo, Ukambani, we now have Ngilu, right? We have
Mutua is also
Mutua,
there.
we have this other one for Kitui, it's called who?
Kitui.
Makueni.
Kivuta Kibwana.
Exactly. So they can't say that the privilege they had the last time of saying, for example, if we know Kenyan politics sometimes are boiled down to our tribal cocoons, right? Like who's our kingpin and all that. So we can't for sure say that Kalonzo now is the kingpin in Kambani. We've seen that narrative change. We've seen apparently even the others, Kina Mutua, Kina Kivuta, want to vie also for presidency, and they have a following. So basically, he won't say that moving to Uda, he will carry the whole of Ukambani votes.
It won't have an effect.
It won't really have that huge effect. I think also the Mwananchi is coming to life. Can we say that they are making their own decisions? So him moving won't say that he's carried the whole of Ukambani vote to Uda.
Now, I'm looking at what the deputy president said, accusing Jubilee Party. If at all we're talking about inconsistency, he said that he took issue with Jubilee Party to back Raila Odinga in the coming elections. That it is unfair to millions who voted the Jubilee Party into office in the year 2012.
No, he can't talk like that because first of all, he has not been a part of Jubilee Party for the longest time. He publicly, first of all, I think the second, after the second elections for presidency, he immediately started campaigning, whereas they had laid very good strategies with the president for the things that were to be done so that they can complete. We know very well, for example, completing all the things they had planned to do wouldn't have happened in the first 5 years. So it was to be completed in the next 5 years. But immediately after elections, he started campaigning, right? And even left the party. We've been seeing him championing for another party's agenda, which I think this is something we should look into with the parties, their regulations, right? The minute you start championing for another or start to behave in a manner to suggest that you belong to a different party, then it is the wise thing for you to leave and then go champion for that party. So he cannot say that Jubilee has taken up another candidate, because basically he's no longer a member of Jubilee Party. He might not have said it and left, but his actions have purported that he's already not a member
of the party.
Jubilee Party. So it would be very wrong for him to accuse Jubilee Party of not supporting him, whereas he's not a member.
But what led to that? Because in his view, the deputy president is associating the problems of Jubilee to the association between Jubilee and Raila Odinga, and of course dating back to the handshake. And that's why we are here today, and we are having this particular conversation where he is now extending, for lack of a better term, a handshake to the Oka leaders.
Well, we can say for once, even his was a handshake. In 2013 and the previous year also, it was a handshake also between him and Uhuru. Then why else would he have a problem when the president... I have listened to the president talk. Sometime we were in Sagana. He called us to Sagara. I've also listened to his conversation. Every time, what he talks about is unity of purpose. He talks about the continuity of a nation. It's not about an individual's personal interest, but Kenya as a nation, it's about the economic continuity. It's about the peace of a nation. And this was the reason why he extended the handshake to Raila. Because we saw after the elections, we saw the way the country was at unrest. There was this Monday thing. Every Monday there were demonstrations in town. Businesses were not going on.
Tear gas Mondays, eh?
Exactly. But immediately the handshake happened, there was peace. Business happened. Everything continued happening. The Mama Mboga, who is purported to be the one of this other party we will not mention, was at peace, could be able to hold their businesses every day and do their things. And yet now somebody claims to say that handshake was bad. I don't think, I do not see why we would be having a problem with a handshake.
Your voice on that?
Okay, you remember the independent constitution in 2010 when Kenya promulgated the new constitution. This new constitution was supposed to address some key issues. Part of it was historical injustice, land reforms, bringing national unity, And
of which the deputy president also mentioned the issue of the failed referendum during his speech yesterday.
Yes. And this issue about national unity, it is cross-cutting, It's cross-cutting because the issue about handshake is a matter of national unity. If the deputy president is not comfortable, the handshake between Uhuru Kenyatta and Honorable Raila Odinga, then I think it is double standards for him to extend that same hand to Oka. Yeah.
This is what the deputy president said, and I quote, "Over 8 million people voted Jubilee into office, and some people have decided to back Raila against the wishes of the voters, and this is very wrong."
This is very interesting because first, if you're the president and I'm your deputy, it is important, according to the constitution, that you respect the president. You cannot come, for example, it's just the first time in office, then you've started campaigning. You're derailing the agenda, the four agenda that President Uhuru Kenyatta was supposed to implement. So I think it's just the guy is just playing PR stunts. And the fact that even if Uhuru supports Raila in the long run, I think it will just be right, because in the same vein, the deputy president has not been loyal to his boss. Yeah.
For me, I'm laughing because I'm wondering which voters are this.
Those who voted for Jubilee. Those who put it in power.
Wasn't he a Jubilee member then, and now he isn't? And also, okay, he may not have resigned officially because he keeps saying he's the deputy party, but He's been
He said he won't resign.
but he's already championing for another cause, for another party's cause. And anyway, we've seen over the past few days as Baba Raila has been moving around Mount Kenya region, of which has over 8 million voters, and he's been welcomed very well. So I'm wondering which voters are these that it's against their will?
Okay.
Which one?
It is all the way against the will of the voters.
Which ones?
No, it's not against the window.
Interesting view. Interesting view. I'm looking at the other side where we are seeing the deputy president now saying that the Oka leaders should not be coerced into supporting Raila Odinga. Your thought on that? Is that are you seeing coercion here? And should the Oka leaders listen to the voice of the deputy president?
I think the Oka team made a statement and said they are not being coerced. It was sometime last week, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And also I can say for sure I have attended a forum where we as the Mount Kenya people have sat down and listened to the Oka team also. As I think you heard of the MKF, the Mount Kenya Foundation,
yes.
Sat down and listened to Raila first, and then another opportunity was given to listen to the Oka team.
Was happening during last week? Was it the other week?
The other week.
The other week.
Yeah, it also sat down and listened to the Oka team.
Yeah.
So no one is coercing the Oka team. Everyone has been given an equal opportunity. You know, as I've said, the Mount Kenya region has over 8 million votes. And this is why every candidate is focusing towards it, because if they are to win, they need at least 10% of these 8 million votes. So the Mount Kenya right now is a very, what do we say, that bride that everyone wants, that girl everyone wants for themselves. So we can't say they've been coerced. I have not seen them publicly come out and say they've been coerced, apart from when they have several meetings with maybe the president and the others, then people assume. It doesn't come from them, but it's the people start assuming, oh, they were being coerced to support a certain candidate. But I think last week they made a statement that claimed they were not being coerced. I think it was the same way they are being extended for the hand, the way the deputy is extending for them is the same way they are being extended this other side. So I don't see why his is an extension, but to the other side is a coercion.
So all right.
It is very
I want us to talk about Jubilee. Okay. And specifically, I'm looking at what Honorable the Secretary General of Jubilee, Honorable Raphael Tuju said. I believe this was last week. And he says, our discussions with ODM are ongoing. There are discussions which are being done at the level of the two-party leaders. That's what he said. And he said that it is beyond my pay grade to divulge something to you which can come up at the level of the two-party leaders. Now, currently as we speak, there is something that is coming up, a meeting that is coming up, and we believe that this might be a conversation that might change the whole dynamics in Jubilee Party. The National Delegates Convention, the NDC, coming up. Are we seeing, and this comes to you, Geraldine, are we seeing a change in Jubilee Party, and what is your expectation in regards to this particular meeting? Now, because last week the Secretary General revealed that the party was planning to hold that particular meeting, and it has now been called, that is expected to, among others, ratify the coalition agreement between the two outfits.
Okay, so firstly, I think it's about time. I think it's about time. We've been hearing this divorce all the time. The deputy president is already elsewhere and all that. I think it's also a democratic right for anyone that feels they want to belong to another party to peacefully do so. So I think this is a time for the Jubilee Party to allow those that feel they should be elsewhere to be like them, and to remain those that are loyal to the party to continue being members at peace, and to clarify all these things that have been happening, all those who've been wanting, you know, some people started behaving in a manner to suggest that they are no longer in Jubilee quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's about time, and it's very funny now that they've been told it's okay, it's about time for you to be wherever you want. They start now fighting that they are being chased away. And over the years, over the past few years, we've seen them, even in elections, for example, in Kiambaa, where we needed Jubilee, we had a Jubilee candidate. People who purport to be in Jubilee, to be Jubilee members, already championing for a candidate of another party. So I don't see why it should be a problem now that they are being told, okay, then be wherever you want to be. So I think it's a good time. It's about time for the Jubilee Party to have that NDC and to have its members, legitimize its members and show the world it's still there. It's the ruling party. It has its members. And it has delivered.
Manisha, what do you think about this? The SG of Jubilee said that it is very important to appreciate that this is a political office.
Yes.
I would be a very worried person if nobody expresses dissatisfaction with my work. I'd be worried if nobody was hitting me every other day.
Yeah, you know, that's the coming conference for Jubilee. I think it's going to be an interesting one because I'm looking forward for, first of all, you know, Rafael Tuju say that he's going to, they're going to, as a party, they're going to expel DP Ruto. Although it has not come out clearly, but if that happens, and I am looking for, I think it may happen. It may not have so much impact on Ruto, because that guy, you know, as much as he's playing tactics here and there, he's an astute politician, you know. So that conference that is coming for Jubilee, it may also announce an alliance with the ODM.
Alliance between
Jubilee and ODM, a partnership to have one candidate who will stand for presidency. Yeah. So,
what are the ramifications that you're seeing as an individual in regards to this NDC meeting, especially politically, moving forward to the presidential bid that is coming up in 2022?
I think it will make clear, for example, you know, when the Jubilee and ODM partner, the Ruto now will get a chance, for example, now to say that, you know, you see, this, I came out of Jubilee because of this and this and this, you know, I came and formed UDA because this and this, and I also it will have an effect on public attitude, you know, and the votes, you know, people will turn out. I am a person who believes that in 2022, most people will turn out for voting, you know.
I hope this meeting will be a successful one that will change the whole conversation.
Definitely, I think it will be, and then I think it's a good move. One thing I know Jubilee will not repeat the mistake it did when it was TNA, where it merged and lost the TNA outfit completely. And then now URP seems like it's the one going to do the UDA thing.
I haven't been hearing much about TNA.
Exactly, because they merged. They didn't have a coalition, they had a merger.
They had a merger.
Where they totally lost TNA, European became one.
And that's what I'm wondering, should we go back?
No, I don't think that's even an option. I don't think it would be wise to have a merger again with ODM or something. I think it would be good to have a coalition. Azimio la Umoja, say maybe, where like we had the NASA and had all these other parties, such that when they feel they can no longer work together, then the parties then go back to the original outfits. So I think it would be nice to remain as the Jubilee Party, not going to a merger again. Just be the Jubilee Party, if it's ODM, OKA, whatever, and then maybe we can have a coalition.
Let's talk about ODM. Now, ODM leader Raila yesterday continued to keep us guessing in a way. And it was it was interesting how you know, when he was talking, because he has set the stage for his 5th stab at the presidency by launching the countrywide tours under the Azimio la Umoja movement. Now he said this, and I quote, "I have been moving around the country rallying our people to unite. I am remaining with Ukambani region, South Rift and Nairobi. I will announce whether I will be on the ballot on December 9th in Nairobi." Minishi, your expectation of that?
Raila must be on the ballot when December 9th. Yeah, I know Raila cannot support any person. Raila will declare on December 9th that he will be vying for presidential.
He has not declared.
But he will declare. It's like telling me that the deputy president can support someone else, even if they make an alliance with the
UDA.
Yeah, UDA. It's impossible. It's almost impossible.
So even if the UDA come to join, they are the ones who will support the deputy president for his seat.
Yes.
And so we expect even Raila, no matter what, he's going to vie as.
Yeah, and that's the reason why, you know, the deputy Ruto, the reason why he defected from Jubilee. One of the reasons is because he feared that they may deny him the ticket to vie for the presidency seat. So he went and formed UDA. So just for as a collateral, so that if they fail maybe to declare him or to give him that ticket to vie for presidency, then he can now use the UDA, you know, as a bargaining chip.
Okay. At least you'll have set pace.
Yeah.
No, Raila has to be on the ballot, you know. He's been one of the people that have wanted the very best for this country for the longest time. I think it's time now for him to become the pillar of this nation. So we've seen him doing the rounds, and we've seen previously he'd been told that it would be very hard to climb Mount Kenya. Lakini tunaona anakwea mlima sawa sawa.
I remember during the celebrations we had in Kirinyaga. In Kirinyaga, he said that he...
The tractor.
Yeah.
Tractor with a wheelbarrow versus a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, I also had that yesterday. Peter Ken was asking in Nairobi whether to climb the mountain, is it easier with a tractor or with a wheelbarrow? It was very interesting.
I love how people use imagery. I don't. It is very interesting. Now, this Azimio la Umoja campaign, how far do you see it going, especially getting to the in regards to the grassroots level?
I think it is a very good. It's a very good campaign because it's the unity of purpose. It's the continuity of this nation. It's not about an individual's interest. It is what's best for this nation. Shared purpose as a nation, unity, so that we do not see a repeat of the post-election violence. It's the unity, wanting the same thing, not the same things, prosperity, shared prosperity for the nation. And I think having this will be a key thing in the coming government, because we will want to see some of the things that, as you're saying, the Constitution was supposed to see. For example, I can say in the Mount Kenya region, we have constituencies that have very huge populations. Like in Kiambu, we have one that has over 450,000 people, Ruto, whereas when an MP is getting the CDF, is given the same amount with someone who has another constituency that has 20,000 people. You see? So it would be important to have this Azimio la Umoja, where it's the unity of purpose. When we are united, what can we do? How can we ensure that resources are equitably distributed? How do we see that gender is considered in the next parliament? How do we see serikali ya vijana, you know? So I think it will do very, very well on the grassroots level, because it is something the country needs. Not just want or aspire, but it's something that this nation needs for its continuity.
Your thoughts on Azimio la Umoja?
You know, in the words of Kofi Annan, he said that nothing can be more dangerous to our efforts to build peace and development than a world divided along religious, ethnic, or cultural lines. In each nation and among all nations, we must build a society based on our shared humanity. And just as my colleague here has said, shared humanity and shared unity, you know. Kuzimio la Umoja, I think it gives us a pace, you know, that we need to work in partnerships. And Kenya being a democracy, in as much as the Freedom House categorized us as a partial democratic state, but at least we have domesticated some ideals of democracy, and that one of them being that we are a multi-party state, you know. This multipartyism should not be exploited by unscrupulous politicians for their own selfish interest, but but it should be for the interest of the common one.
Let me quote this. I had promised that I will ensure every poor family gets a stipend of 6,000 Kenyan shillings per month. Geraldine.
Yes.
How are you?
Continue, finish.
This is called the Social Protection Fund. It happens in other countries like the UK, US, and Germany, where poor families who cannot fend for themselves are supported by government. There are many Kenyans who have come up against this particular statement.
Yes, you know, what Raila is failing to understand is that we are a developing country, and that thing invariably usually happens in the developed world. You know, I'm not against the 6,000 stipend. Yes, granted, it can have an impact, you know, on the proletariat and the, you know, the lower class Kenyans. But let us come to think of it. How is that going to be achieved? You know, and it brings the question that is very important that we need to ask ourselves: is the question of demagoguery. We are having so many demagogues in Kenya. Most of these politicians, if you ask me, most of these presidential aspirants, they are demagogues. They just want to come. For example, if I know that you have a problem of water, I will come. I'll say I'll bring you 7 tanks of, or I'll drill 1,000 boreholes of water. You know. Just to suit your interest. When I come maybe to Ukambani, where there's drought, I'll come there and say I will donate.
Is that the case for this, for 6,000? Is that so?
Yes.
So
how are you going to achieve that? Yet we are being overburdened by foreign debts. It's impossible.
Geraldine?
Well, as an economist, by profession.
And did you economically analyze this particular
Yeah.
numbers?
I understand where he came from. I have seen part of the things he would want to do for this nation, and one of them is his. I have seen the, what do you call it? In his manifesto for. I remember we sat him down not a long time ago as the youth of Mount Kenya here at UON. And we listened to him and he listened to us and the things we had asked for. And one of the things that I saw and listened was that it's stability. One of the things he's looking at is stability and a conducive environment to thrive and carry out businesses. So as a social safety net, this would be, if well implemented, it's doable. How this is doable, because I sat down with some people who are thinking through it, is that you see how you form chamas and circles and things like that, where you have psychosocial support groups there.
They're called funds together.
Exactly, like there's table banking, there's a village savings and loanings. Yeah? So with this, then you can be able to help everyone with that 6,000 shillings if they form the those psychosocial support groups. So like the Boda Boda people form one, the graduates who are out there doing their 1, 2, 3 form something in groups. Then it is possible. You see all these funds that we have had previously misappropriated, then it's doable. For example, the youth fund, the women fund, in organized groups, it is possible to do that 6,000 shillings. And another thing I've seen him championing, and he told us during that day, he will continue as President Uhuru has been doing, is fighting corruption. Because this is one of the places that funds in Kenya get lost.
But then how do you still enable, ensure that this is successful? Distributing the 6,000 equally among all Kenyans, regardless of the issue of course, money being siphoned and corruption. How successful is, or what is the success rate of this particular project?
If you look at one of the things he has also said he will do in the things his manifesto is doing round, he's saying that he will ensure he keeps a database. He maintains a data bank for the skilled, non-skilled, and all that labor group here, so that then he has organized labor. You can know who is where, and you know, with data, classified data and a data bank, you'll be able to know these are the people that require these 6,000 shillings. And this way you're able to do also the monitoring and evaluation. And I have seen this happen.
Is it workable?
I think I'm of the contrary opinion, because Kenya is a closed political system. And since we are a closed political system, there are no checks and balances. Look at the executive, the judiciary, the parliament, even the independence of the judiciary, Article 159 of the Kenyan Constitution. It is not even something that, you know, it has not been effective. And this issue about 6,000 monthly statement by Raila, it's a question of distribution of wealth. Yes, you know, there's a saying that, not even a saying, there's a scholar who say that Africa is a rich continent, but paradoxically, Africa is also the poorest continent. Why? Because we have the rich resources, but we cannot utilize this resource. Even if we utilize it, it is for the oligarchs, you know, for the wealthy. So the question is about distribution, and that explains how our public administration is very compromised. You know, our public, even if Raila maybe implement it, he signs that thing into effect, you know, into a law. The fact is, how are we going to distribute, you know, that 6,000? Yeah, because you cannot work alone. That's the reality.
And now he said this, and still on you, Gerald. He said, we do not want to see our people going without food. This is why I've said that every family that has no source of income will get 6,000. I have served as a prime minister. I understand the economy, and I know where the money is. I know all the loopholes where the public funds are siphoned. I will seal all of them and make money available for people.
Well, when he was the prime minister, I guess he could have done what he has said. He could have implemented that thing. But, you know,
the 6,000.
Yeah, I think, okay, Raila is not a bad leader, by the way. He's an astute politician. But the only place where I disagree with him is the issue about that 6,000 monthly, you know.
All right.
Because we don't have the mechanism to implement that kind of...
So are you saying if the mechanisms are put in place, it's doable?
Yeah, if the mechanism are put in place and the distribution of resources is equal, I think it can work. Kenya has a lot of money, by the way. And a lot of
so the 6,000 can work?
It can work if we are accountable for every shilling.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem is the mechanisms.
Yeah.
The mechanisms.
If the right mechanisms are put in place.
Let me talk about one mechanism then. The KRA.
Which one?
He said, Honorable Raila Odinga said, that the Kenya Revenue Authority should not harass small and medium-sized businesses or traders, but should instead create a conducive environment of doing business. And he said that he will also, interestingly, ensure that he works with the president as of now to consider extending the Kazi Mtaani program until August next year. Is that one mechanism that can... How do you see it taking us to the next level?
Actually, that has already started working. Last week I was in a place in Githurai. I was listening to the young people talk, and they were saying it has already taken place, the Kazi Mtaani. So that's one mechanism. Where families, young families, you know, most of the time we forget that the youth also have families. There are families that are headed by youth, and they're struggling. And the Kazi Mtaani has been a project that has really helped the young people be able to do the next thing, to earn something in their pockets. And so that's one mechanism for sure. And also that one, the KRA, not harassing the small businesses. I think these are some of the things that, you know, BBI was not that bad at all. Yeah, because it was offering solutions and the implementation process of how they should be done to achieve them. Yeah, and this was one of the things. For example, the tax. I think these are some of the things also we would want him to find a way to have them implemented, or whoever the next president is going to be. We need, for example, that tax holiday for the young people. That's a conducive environment. As much as you're being promised, let me now say maybe that 6,000 or that 3,000, or wheelbarrow reward 3,000 60,000 shillings. You need a conducive working environment, because if the taxes remain the same, if being harassed for licenses and all these things still remain the same, and the inflation rates are still that high, that 6,000, that 3,000 at the end of the day will not create stability and empowerment. At the end of the day, you will, even when you get that capital to run your business as a young person, with the inflation, with the taxes, you end up not having a break-even point. So at the end of the day, you go back to square one, where you have no capital, you have no business. If the environment is not stable and it's not conducive for your business.
Your voice? Yes.
Just to add on what she has said, you know, too much government intervention in the economy is very dangerous. So I think right now we are having too much government intervention. And what we need to
hold on. Isn't government supposed to handle the issue of economy?
But too much, you know, too much government intervention. You know, Kenya is...
So it's like saying, if you keep on doing your role, it is dangerous.
No. Kenya is a democratic state. And you remember Kenya is part of the... is binded by the African Union Charter. And if it's binded by the African Union Charter, we have also ratified the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which highlights the issue about removal of trade barriers, you know, allowing market forces, you know, to prevail. And if we are binded by that charter, then I think we must respect the pacta sunt servanda of that charter. This means that we must not have too much government intervention, in the sense that we must deploy a strategy. The best strategy, and in my opinion, is the market-friendly approach, where we have the principle of the golden mean that brings a nexus between the two. Okay,
the issue of the KRA, your voice on that, issue KRA and the Kazim Tani?
Yeah, the issue of the KRA, I think also, as you have said earlier, is not about KRA taxing. You know, these high taxes that KRA is implementing, especially on the small trade business, they need to reduce the taxes, but also we need to look at, the government needs to intervene the way it has intervened in the issue about cancer, you know. I believe that in KRA there are some very corrupt officials.
We need KDF in...
Even if it means KDF, as long as our taxes are accountable. You know, by the
you're saying we need KDF in KDF.
That's what he's saying. But if it's working, then
will it work?
We are tired of corruption. You know.
I want us to bring this conversation to a close. I want to give each one of you final time to have a final word in regards to this conversation. Of course, to just make a general comment as you speak to Kenyans. Let me start with you, Munishi, still. Have a final word as we bring this conversation to a close. Maybe you can talk to Kenyans. That is your camera there.
Okay, Kenyans, as we look at, we are nearing election period. It is important that we be careful how politicians use us. We should not allow the politicians to take advantage of us. You know, it's very sad that in Kenya, age and not civic education is the main determinant of voting. And we need to move away from that narrative, where Kenya will implement, or rather to institutionalize democracy and the democratic process, so that we can have a society where I'm not trying to demonize the illiterate or to demonize politicians, but Kenyans must elect leaders who they know will cater for their interests, and not to elect demagogues who will in the long run bring this economy back, or rather to retrogress us back.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mochi. Geraldine, speak. Have a final word within a short time, and that is your camera there.
Okay. Where I want to say, what this country needs is unity. What this country needs is prosperity, and what this country needs is continuity. And for that to be achieved, we have to vote the right leaders in place. And our time is now. We don't have to wait for another 5 years to complain of the leaders we put in place. And not voting is voting for the wrong candidate. So it's time to take and the only way we can make that difference is if we took our voters' cards, we went and registered as voters and made sure that our voice counted on that ballot. So I'd request that, especially the young people who make over 70% of this nation, to make sure you have your silaha yako ikuwe ni that your vote. So, and as we listen, let us make the correct decisions. And also, one thing before I forget, we are also going to have the National Youth Council elections.
Yes.
Yes, so
yes,
I would urge the young people to make sure they come out in large numbers and register as voters for the National Youth Council also, and make sure they vie for those positions, because then that is where they will start championing for the youth agenda.
Are you a member of?
Yes, I'm a member of the National Youth Council, for sure, and I'll be there to ensure that the youth are educated on the importance of having a youth council, because we wanted to have that commission for the youth in the BBI, that's not possible. But now there's this route, there's this route where through the National Youth Council, we the youth can be heard. So it will be a good thing for them to come out. It will also set the pace for them in the elections. They can vie for positions also to continue pushing for the youth agenda.
All right, thank you so much. That is Geraldine Muiruri, and to my extreme right, Gerald Minishi. The GMs.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Much more in heaven. That's why 254.
By the way, I saw a comment online on social media where some Kenyans are saying we need the KDF to take over the Kenya Power.
Yes,
it should.
It should. The EACC, it has failed us terribly.
It should, by the way.
Kenya Power.
I'm
as long as there's
about losing the BBI, because I feel like for elections we will not be having leaders. EACC has failed us. It gives us candidates who have a track record that should not be vying, If we had KDF take that also, it would be very good.
Keep engaging with us. The hashtag is Why in the Morning at Ram Aguko, and that Y254 channel is where you can be able to find us. Keep talking to us. Let us know where you're watching us from as we continue with today's morning conversation. But for now, we've come to the end of youth and politics, but we still have a lot in store for you coming up in a bit. A big thank you to Geraldine and Gerald Miruri Minishi.
Well, pleasure.
Thank you so much. Keep it locked right here. This is Why in the Morning. My name is Ram Maguko. Stay tuned for this and much more.